We are not doctors. Nothing in this podcast should be taken as medical advice. Consult your physician before starting any workout routine. This is the Martial Heart Podcast.
Hi. Still, that introduction is awfully abrupt. I have to figure that out and make it work better. Anyway, hi, welcome back. It's Monday, the 25th, correct? Yes, 25th of November. It's in the middle of the day, and I'm at home. Didn't feel very well over the weekend. Feeling better today. Still got a little sinusy thing going on, but I feel better. But now there's a home repair thing that happened, and I have to be here. I have to be at home for the repair person when they show up to fix everything. So anyhow, that's why I'm home in the middle of the day. Went into work for some today, helped a couple of customers out, and then had to come home so I could be here, so I could pay some people to do some things. Home ownership, woo, fun times. But today I had the opportunity to run into a friend of mine. His name's Brian, and I've known him for, I guess I've known him for 20 years, but I only talk to him when we're at work, when I run into him at work, which is usually only a couple of times a year. But over those years, we've gotten to know each other. We've spent, a few days together during those times. And we got to know each other a little bit, and we have a lot of the same interests in guns and family things. And, we've talked a lot about various things over the years. But a couple of years ago, when I was having my peripheral artery disease issues, he had a heart attack at work. So we ran into each other a couple of years ago, and he was like, "Hey, I had a heart attack." And I was like, "Hey, I just had to get my lower body augured out so that, my blood could flow again." And it just kind of became a thing that we were both dealing with the same thing, similar things. But he was one of the people who definitely encouraged me and said, "Hey, you need to get on your doctor and have him make sure that the arteries around your heart aren't doing the same thing, because holy crap, having a heart attack sucks." Which it does. If you haven't had one, it sucks. But Brian had his at work. I guess he had to be taken out in an ambulance, and it was a close thing. But he also told me that, and I ran into him, I don't know, a couple of months after he had his heart attack, and a couple of months after I had my surgery for my stents in my lower body for the peripheral arteries. But apparently after that, about 6 months after that, his wife had a heart attack. She's okay as well. She got her treatments. They both went through the cardiac rehab that I'm going through currently. But we talked about how it changes your perspective. And Brian's retiring. He has enough time in with he's a union employee. He's an electrician. He's a career electrician, but he has enough time, and he has everything he needs to be able to retire. And so he's going to do it. And that was one of the things that we discussed today, was how working until you fall over dead is not really a priority. So it's what most people do. Most low, middle class, blue collar, white collar, it doesn't matter. If you're not rich and you're not buying islands and flying into space, you pretty much just work until you die. If you're lucky, you might be able to retire by the time you're 67, 68, or 70 years old. What do you have? Another 4 or 5 years left to live? And what's your quality of life going to be during those 4 or 5 years that you have left? Not much. So most people don't have the opportunity to go ahead and retire when they're young enough to actually enjoy themselves once they're retired. Now, Brian's 3 or 4 years older than I am, so he's probably 60. I think he's 60 now, but still younger than Social Security retirement age, and still, a strong guy, still up and around, seems fine. He's healthy now, and he's staying healthy, he and his wife both. And so She was able to retire, and now he's going to retire, and they're just going to enjoy the rest of their lives. And we talked specifically about how having a heart attack changes your perspective on things like work. And is this really what you want to do right up until the point when you croak? As we turning these screwdrivers or doing whatever you're doing, building these cabinets or putting these nails in this board or, welding this thing together, whatever it is you do for a living, is that really what you want to do right up until the point where you die? And if you think about it, I don't think most people would say, yeah, dude, that's what I want to do. The day I die, I want to be, doing stuff like that. So anyway, I don't, and neither does Brian. So Brian is lucky enough. And the interference that you're hearing, I'm sorry. I have to figure out a way to do this. It's my phone. It's my cell phone interference because it's too close to the equipment. And because I'm getting a spam phone call. Anyway, so yeah, perspective. Changed our perspective on life. And no, those things are not really a priority now. Making a living, working, and, there's a certain amount of self-satisfaction in working and being successful at what you do and having something that you can pass along to another generation. Like right now, I'm at the place in my career. I never expected this to be a career. My job. I'll tell the story someday. Where I work now, I planned on working there for 6 months, 20 years ago. And then, I don't know. Another perspective changed back then, but it wasn't for the same reasons. But I'm at the place now in my career, I guess, because we'll call it a career. I guess if you've been there for 20 years, it's what you do for a living now, which I was in denial about that whole thing for a long time. But I'm at the place now where I'm teaching younger people how to do this thing that I do. And there are people who are the age of my kids. And so it's kind of fascinating that there are people in that generation who want to do these types of things. It's a blue collar job, it's not glamorous. There's nothing, super cool about it. It's just a job, but it's a job that's important, and it's a job that impacts people's life and safety every day. So it's critical that you do it correctly, I guess is what I'm getting at. I'm not going to go into the whole explanation of what I do, but it's important that it's done correctly. There are laws that make sure it's done correctly and licenses that you have to get. And if you're hearing Vincent crying at the door, just ignore him. That's how he gets you. That's how he gets to you. So knock it off, cat. But yeah, I'm at the place now where I get to train people and teach people and, impart my knowledge that I've gained over all these years to another generation. And it's kind of cool where I am now in my life. But it's hard to think about what would I do if I wasn't working? If you were able to just go ahead and retire, like right now, if I could just retire right now, which I would already be retired if I had just stayed in the military full time years ago. That's one of my deepest regrets, and one of my smartest things I ever did was get out of the Army and not stay on active duty for 25 years. But and it is both. It can be one of the smartest things I did was get out of the Army, and one of the dumbest things I ever did was get out of the Army, because I would already be retired. I would be happy and fat and not worrying about all this stuff. But not working until you die. It's kind of a thing that we all have to think about, because if you have the ability to retire, do it. Because what's the point? If you're just living to make somebody else money, I don't know. I don't think that's a good enough reason to go into work every day. Now, if you have to pay the bills, that's something else. If you got to do that until the day you die, then that's what you do. But I'm going to tell everybody, if you have the ability to retire, do it. Because I may never have the ability to retire. I may die literally on the job. Don't know. But it's something that I definitely think about, and it's something that Brian and his wife have thought about for a couple of years now, and they're just going to do it. They're going to go ahead and retire and spend the rest of their days doing what they want. relaxing, maybe going camping, go to a beach or something. So good for them. Good for you, Brian. It was good to see you today, and I'm glad you're looking all happy and healthy. And we both made it. We made it. We survived it. So now it's up to us. All we have to do is make the most out of our lives now and not just be worker drones that are going to be out there making money for someone else for the rest of our life until we keel over, because they don't care. We're easily replaceable. Don't let anybody try to explain to you that you're important, because you're not. When you die, they're just going to hire someone to do your job for you. That's it. It's not like they're going to retire your job. They don't retire your jersey when you're working in a blue-collar job. They don't do those sorts of things. When you die, they just need someone else to do the work now. So they hire someone else. You're easily and quickly replaceable. Maybe not emotionally. Maybe the people are attached to you. Maybe they think you're the greatest guy in the world, which is exactly what my coworkers think. They think I'm the greatest guy. They don't. I'm just kidding. I'm making that up because that's what I wish they thought of me, because it's a fantasy life that I live. But yeah, when I die, guess what? They're just going to hire someone else to do it. That's it. There isn't something that I can do that they can't. I might do it with more panache than someone else, but that's about it. So, worker bees, be a drone for the rest of your life until you keel over dead, sitting at that keyboard or turning that wrench. Yeah, it's not a very attractive thought for me either. So, as soon as I'm able to retire, I'm out. I'm out. Not even going to turn and look back. Don't care. Going to enjoy the rest of my life. Until then, I will be a working stiff just like everyone else. Yeah, so anyway, it'll be fun. Retiring, not worrying about the crap anymore. So take care of yourselves. Have a good week. I'll talk to you later on. I got to wait for this worker, and then hopefully he gets it fixed by the time I have to go to cardiac rehab, and then I will talk to everybody later. Bye.